Hello everyone, Chandler here. So today we're going to be reviewing the Avenue suspension trucks. There's a few things I need to say before I start this review. The first thing is I do not support any truck company. I don't ride for any company, and I did not get any sort of support from Avenue trucks. I paid for these full price and skated for them for about a year. The second thing is these are Generation 1 Avenue trucks. So I bought the first generation because that was the only generation available when I purchased these, and since then they released the second generation. So you might have a different version of Avenue trucks than I do. And the third thing is I don't know all the grinds and slides, so maybe these trucks perform really well for front crooks, but I can't do a front crook, so I can't really talk about that. I can only talk about the way that I skated them for about a year and how it can relate to you. So the first thing I noticed when I bought these trucks about a year ago is that they're very loose. For the past 6 years of skating, I thought I skated loose trucks, and whenever I started skating these, I realized my trucks were tight. So the first thing I did when I got these trucks was tighten them up as much as possible, and even then they were still a little more loose than my previous pair of trucks. Aside from Day One Song, these trucks have the potential to be the loosest in the industry, I think, but if you have them all the way tight, it's more of like a medium loose kind of feel. Let's go over a few pros with these Avenue trucks. I've skated Thief trucks, Independent trucks, and Thunder trucks in the past, and comparing them to Avenue trucks, they take a long time to break in. I was really surprised with the Avenue suspension trucks, how quickly I was able to do my Smiths and Feebles and just kind of lock into 5.0s the first day. I'm not sure if it was the Avenue trucks or my level of skill, but with these trucks I learned how to do crooked grinds very well. I had done 1 or 2 in the past with other trucks, and with the Avenue trucks I just locked into them, and maybe it was the looseness of it or the way the truck metal is hard or soft, but the pinch and the crook came very naturally for me. In my opinion, the best pro with the Avenue suspension trucks is just that, the suspension, especially in transition. When you're going down a ramp and hit the transition part of the ramp, these trucks suspend down and they squish together and they load up like a spring, and when you get to the flat part of the ramp they unload and launch you a little more forwards, a little bit faster, and it makes that whole process smoother, and that was my favorite part of these trucks. Moving on to the cons with the suspension trucks, the first one that I had was a big con for me, and that was the timing for all your flip tricks are very off. Because of the suspension, your pop and everything, the flick is just a little bit different. It took me a few months to relearn how to kick flip and heel flip and Casper flip. Now I'm sure if I skate these trucks for the rest of my life, I'll get used to the difference in time of the popping of tricks. My ledge tricks and my transition tricks were not hard to relearn over these trucks, but everything flat ground just took a long time. And I understand it took a long time for me to initially learn these tricks, but it felt like I was relearning them when I was doing these new trucks. So the transition from regular trucks to suspension trucks is a difficult one when it comes to flat ground. The biggest complaint I have with these trucks is the kingpin. I think it's too tall. For whatever reason, maybe I have it too tight and it's squishing down everything else and putting the kingpin up higher. Whenever I started doing Smith grinds after like 5 or 6 months, it started grinding down the kingpin and I couldn't do them anymore, and I was sending sparks everywhere and it was terrible. It would happen mainly at Penn Valley Skate Park. They have ledge there that's concrete with metal on the sides, and whenever the metal and the concrete meet, it was kind of worn down there, and my truck, my axle, would get stuck in that crack and I wouldn't be able to grind, and it would create sparks and I would just fly forwards, and everyone thought I was bad at Smith grinds, which I am sometimes, but not that much. At other skate parks I would either make marks with my kingpin whenever I did a deep Smith grind, or I would have to lift up my nose to where it was almost a 5.0 and my kingpin wouldn't touch. So that's the biggest complaint I had, and I think they have fixed that with Generation 2, but I'm not sure. So overall, I think these trucks are pretty good. They're a little more expensive than the usual trucks, and it takes a little while to get used to the pop, but if you're going to be skating these indefinitely, then you get used to that and you're good to go. I think they're great for transition. I loved that part of it, and ledge tricks were great, and slides and grinds. The only issue I had was that kingpin, which I hope they'll fix. The other thing that happened with me with these trucks, I skated them for a year. The reason I stopped is because I broke one of the trucks on a crooked grind. I was just grinding and suddenly my trucks got super loose. I still landed it somehow, but I found this on the ground, didn't know what it was, looked out of my truck and that was missing. So I contacted Avenue Skate Trucks and they said they would replace this piece. I just had to pay for shipping to get it there and back, and they would do that free. But I didn't take them up on that because I planned on going back to regular trucks. So all that aside, I enjoyed them. I don't know if I recommend them, but it depends on your style of skating, honestly. I think the Avenue trucks are great. I love the suspension part of it. I think if you're a transitional skater, you're really gonna love these trucks. I personally am gonna stick with traditional trucks because it's what I've come to know and love. If you wanna see another review on these trucks, check out Alex's channel. He put a review up of these trucks. He rides for Avenue and he explains really well what it feels like to jump down stuff with these trucks. I don't jump down stuff, so I can't really say much about it. Thank you for watching and God bless.